So, this is Sam Elliott here. I'm sure I know some of you already, and to anybody that's watching this that doesn't know me, I've sort of basically made Brands Hatch my second home. I go there maybe once, twice a month, and have been doing so for 16 years or so, 17 years. Absolutely love the place. I've done countless laps there. I mean, probably 20,000, something like that. Still don't know really how to get around the track, so apologies for that. But yeah, it's a great track. It's great to watch as well. But I thought I would do this video and just voice some thoughts on the AD09 because there aren't really many reviews. There's a couple in the UK where they've reviewed quite favourably against AR1, AO52 type tyres. Unfortunately, I can't say I do agree with them. This bit of footage here, this is when the tyres were brand spanking new. I'd just done one session just to sort of get the pressures. I came back in, temperatures were perfect, like 40-50 Celsius. I dropped pressures to 28 psi. I think that's about as good as you'll get with these tyres, and it did 52.9, which isn't too bad, but that's the fastest it ever did on this day. After that first quick lap, no matter what I did with the pressures and the managing the temperatures, it went slightly slower the next lap, and then it basically remained consistent at about 53.4, which is a half-second difference. But what I found was that it was only quick on that first heat cycle, and then after that, it's a big horrible difference to when it was new. So if people are going to be racing or trying to set good times on these tyres, it's not going to be easy for them. If anyone's got any ideas, any suggestions on how to make them a little bit less slow, I'd like to hear them, because yeah, I mean, I have quite a lot of experience of most of the types of tyre. I mean, AL1, I've used that brand new. You just go out without even really messing about with the pressures. The car would be doing 52.4 consistently within a couple of hundredths of a second, and that's even if you let the pressures go up quite high. Cup 2s, they'll do sort of high 52s, but they'll be consistent, and they'll do that from when they're new till when they're sort of down to the canvas, really. Yeah, I mean, Kumo V70 is another really good one, consistent tyre, much quicker. All of those tyres are much quicker than the AD09 in my experience. So here, just having a little bit of fun with this Atom. I think that Atom was maybe on AL1 or Advan ZZR tyres, which I'd say are a different class to the AD09. So that car should be a lot quicker than the M4. The M4 is just pretty standard, really. It's got good brakes, good brake pads, nice alignment, and it feels really good on the track. It feels really good on the track, to me at least. And the times it does are pretty good, pretty competitive, I think. But yeah, you can see the car, it's just already getting loose, and it's done maybe 2 or 3 hard laps, and the lap times, it's sort of, maybe the first lap was a 52.9 and then 53.1, and then after that, that's it, it's game over. You just can't get the car to go any quicker. The more you try, the looser it gets, the more scrappy the laps get. I mean, it's good fun to drive. It doesn't feel too snappy, and you can really hear the tyres going off as you're pushing harder. So I'd say quite a nice tyre to drive on, but unfortunately it's just not very quick. So this next bit of footage is from the next time I drove the car. So at this point they've probably done about an hour and 20 minutes on the track. And on this day, the best that it managed was 53.5. And in this session, I was out for about 20 laps. I did absolutely everything I could to try and manage the heat, manage the pressures properly. So, you know, just lots of cooling laps, and, you know, I think on lap 4, 9 and 19, after doing many cooling laps in between, and even a sort of very slow drive through the pits, the best it we did was a 53.5, and they were all 53.5s within, you know, just 2 or 3 hundredths of a second. So very consistent, but to get those consistent laps, it felt like you just had to push so hard and make the car, you know, sort of very on edge. You'll see on this lap, you know, it's just everywhere on the brakes, sort of on the power, and it did feel a bit like it was pushing at the front a bit, which you don't usually. The front on the M4 is pretty good. I had adjusted the suspension slightly to sort of overcome that a bit. You just see sort of going into this last corner before the straight, it's just so scrappy. We're basically drifting a lot of the corner. I mean, it's not you don't lose too much time sort of as you're going into it, but just when you're coming out, it's like you just can't get on the power. Yeah, it just wasn't really that quick. And yeah, just going to cut to a picture of the front left. So where it was okay, I think because of the problems I was having with managing the pressures, a lot of the time I was going out with very low pressures, and that's going to kill the edge a bit more. But I was very careful not to push the car too hard when the pressures were low, or certainly not to slide the car. But in this picture you just see I've sort of put a dashed yellow line, and I think basically that's where the tyre gets glued together. This is what I've been told. I don't know if it's true or not. And I've seen it on quite a few tyres. And what happens is that's where they glue them, and then over time, like, they just separate a bit and you get a bit of a crack that appears. I think it's perfectly safe to drive, but on the outside of the tyre you can just see a little bit chunked away there, and that's what happens. That's what you can expect. So yeah, I mean, to surmise, I think it's a good tyre. You know, I think it's going to last quite a long time. It's not that quick. And I think basically, unless you're going to pay, you know, significantly under retail, like maybe half or 60%, I would definitely go for AL1 or Cut 2 or something.